So present at this meeting currently are Rob Wright, Rich Melanson, Will Bissonette, Stephen Frisk, Bob Thibault, Crystal Mansfield, Carla Lumbra, and Glen Beattie. So we'll call the meeting to order at 6:35. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the regular board meeting of May 12th.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes from the regular board meeting of May 12th, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to take the agenda out of order and start with members of the public.
So moved.
Second.
1 second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of taking the agenda out of order and moving to members of the public, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. So I think, Mr. Thibault, we can start with you because you will probably be the quickest. And then we can let you get back to your life.
Absolutely,
So,
thank you. So my name is Bob Thibault. I'm the principal at Leland and Gray. And I had asked to be put on the agenda just to connect with you guys. Obviously, this year has been bizarre for us. One of the things that we're trying to do down the stretch is figure out how to honor our seniors as they graduate. And obviously, if you've heard, the guidance from the state agency of ed is to not do live graduations. So we are looking at alternative things to do. One of the things that the kids had talked about doing was a parade, a car parade, of course, where people would stay socially distant in their vehicles. We would line up and we would perform some kind of route in and around the center of town, possibly, well, starting at the high school, possibly heading up 35 to Valley Cares, do a loop, come back around the common, and end back at school. I have a call into Lieutenant Anthony French, the state police, who would help me with coordination around road closures and that sort of thing. But I was advised, and I think a good way to connect with you guys is to let you know that was a possibility.
I'm on a meeting.
I'll have more definitive information hopefully by the end of this week with our plans. We have a couple of things we're working on that could take away from the possibility of doing that. If we did that, it would be on the Saturday morning that graduation was intended to be on, which is June 13th. And probably we would do it at 10 in the morning, just like we would do graduation. So same time, similar place, much different looking environment. So I just wanted to run that by you guys, make sure you guys are good with that. And if there's any concerns or questions when I meet with Lieutenant, and actually Sherwood, we could include you in that conversation as well. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to just see if there's any concerns from the townsfolk that you guys might have about doing something like that.
Okay, does anybody have questions, comments? Okay.
We get free car decorations if we want to join the parade.
So one of the things that we have to do is really limit who's in the parade, and the Alumni Association asked to join. And based on the number of people we would attract, I'm guessing, just based on how many people were outside for the jet flyover, not a lot of social distancing going on out there, I can tell you that. I was out there on the front lawn of the school. I'm guessing that we would have as small a population as possible. I know families would probably come out and park on the road and watch. But, you know, I talked to Glen about possibly getting some fire trucks from the towns that the kids are from. And whether the VSP would provide an escort or not, I don't know. But I think the smaller, the better. We have 32 graduates, and the fewer kids, the fewer people involved in the parade, probably the less risk there is of massive crowds, which is what we obviously want to try to avoid. So regrettably, no.
Darn it. But if you need someone to help decorate cars, I'm on it.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Bob. Anybody else have any other questions? I don't believe that we have any need to approve or disapprove. There's no permitting involved. So I asked Bob to come and just kind of let us all know, and then for people watching at home, they'll know that it's going on and can contact him for details.
Any closing of roads that would happen even for short term, the VSP would all just handle that, and that would be outside of your guys' jurisdiction?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
All right.
correct.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Feel free to send me any questions. My email is on the school website. Happy to take any questions you guys have along the way, but I appreciate it. And again, it may not happen depending on what else we do. It's just sort of one of our plans. We wanted to run it by you while we had the chance.
Okay. Thanks very much, Bob.
All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good night,
You
Bob.
both. Have a good night.
You too, guys.
Okay. Let's see. We want to do Glenn. Do you want to go next? You're probably fairly. Oh, did Glenn leave? Nope, there he is. Glenn, you'll probably be fairly quick, right?
I think so.
Okay.
So, all right, if you're ready.
Sure.
All right. So basically, I wanted to reach out to you guys for kind of an update for the end of the fiscal year that's rapidly approaching. First would be on regarding the building committee. Imagine that basically that was stalemated due to the COVID-19, like everything else in the world. We did just receive a little bit of correspondence back from the architect or engineering firm, so hoping that we can start meeting again. It was a small group under 10 anyway, so we should be able to do that between in-person and virtual, and be able to hopefully finalize or get to the final end of the feasibility study. Obviously, coming up in our meetings will be at least how the committee feels as far as moving forward right now with everything, the economy being in the situation that it's in. Obviously, we may have to put this whole thing on hold. I have no idea. We will be, I'm hoping that we can get to you guys in a couple of months with closure to that portion of it anyway. The other is our budget and surplus that we have left over. As a rule, we try not to spend anything we don't have to during the year, in anticipation of any unforeseen things, big items that might go wrong that we would need to pay for to keep up protection for the town. Well, as a rule, we generally, start spending about this time of year, and wanted to make sure that you guys are aware of that. So all of a sudden you'll start seeing a whole bunch of slips and invoices and all that coming through as we get close to the end of the fiscal year. And I believe, wanted to double check June 15th is the last that you really want to, that has, you guys have to have it to get it warned and.
Yeah, so we can get it warned and approved and paid on the current fiscal year.
Correct. Okay. We did have one item that would be going outside of one of the lines. We would either grossly overspend in one line and it would come out of another. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I don't have
What's that
a problem
item
with.
for?
Yeah, what is it?
That's for a positive pressure fan. And it's, we have some that are in the trucks that are extremely old, and some of the guys have voiced concerns over the safety of them. So that's where that came.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're gonna be net overall in your budget, I don't see why that would be an issue.
Okay.
I
Well,
don't either.
normally it's
That's a
not.
problem.
It hasn't been. It's just been, I guess, a formality to check with you guys and make sure everybody's fine with that. I'm guessing that I think there still will be a surplus for sure. We won't be over at the end by any means. So that's all I had, unless you guys have any questions of me.
Anyone have any questions for Glenn?
I do not.
Okay,
I do not.
thanks, Glenn. Appreciate it.
All righty. You guys have a sweltering evening.
You too.
See ya.
Great. Bye.
Have a good
Okay.
night.
And for members of the public, last but not least, Mr. Lake, how are you tonight?
Not too bad. And you?
Doing all right. So, what do you got for us?
Well, a couple of things ahead of the main topic that I had for you. Tomorrow in Brattleboro, there's going to be a food distribution from the National Guard. AHS is going to be, the Agency of Human Services is going to be there for people who need sheltering issues, counseling issues, things like that. Based on the outpouring from other events, it's liable to be very lengthy lines. So if you're in Brattleboro and can avoid South Main Street and Canal Street, I would. If there are people out there that need food, that distribution is going to take place, I believe, from 10 until 2.
They recommended that everybody goes up the South Main backside and around, I think, Atwood. So Canal Street should be relatively okay, but they also said that you might want to start lining up around 7
Yeah.
a.m.
Well, the distribution from Burlington today was 3.5 miles long, 2 lanes down
cow.
127. Berlin, Vermont, they were backed up off the interstate. So this stuff has been published widely in press and has been published widely on their different web portals. So it could work perfectly fine. They could be out of everything by 11 o'clock in the morning. It's just hard to say what their outtake is. There is also tomorrow.
What's the time for that?
10 to 2.
What's the time for that? 10 to 2. Thank you.
Yeah. There's also a pop-up clinic tomorrow for COVID-19 tests down in Brattleboro at the VFW. Quite a bit of their spaces have been taken up, but in conversation today with hospital staff, there are plenty of spaces to get it done at the hospital, and they'll take you in here at Grace Cottage whenever if anybody wants to get tested. So the pop-up tests are great if you're driving through and won't be in town, but you can get it done at Grace Cottage as well.
Crystal, does the hospital still require a primary care referral?
No, you just have to call and make an appointment now. So primary care is still referring for the COVID testing, but the pop-up sites, we're still allowing people to come in if they're concerned and want to have a test. You just have to call us and we'll give you a time slot. We're running it. We're trying, well, it changes frequently, but we're trying to schedule the times so that the providers can be in clinic seeing other patients when they're not in the respiratory clinic. So, but there's no charge for the patient, right? So the test is free, and we are there and staffed and ready, willing, and able, I guess, as the saying goes.
Is this just testing for the active virus, or do you do antibody testing too?
Oh, there's no antibody testing. No. This is just that, this is just to see if you've tested, if you have positive, if you've tested positive for the virus or not. It's a nasal swab.
It's the same thing in Brattleboro. Brattleboro is the exact same thing. It's just to see if you have active virus, which can spring you out of quarantine if you've been in quarantine for 7 days and you need to do 14. If you come up with a positive or a negative test after 7 days, that allows you to get out. So there are some issues, or there are some benefits along with it. And the last thing I had has to do with the memo I sent you all for the first of the week. It's about door locks and securing buildings in town. Not everything is COVID-19, but this lock issue there is an element of COVID-19 in it, and not to beat it around too much, it basically boils down to, if we're making requirements that town staff and employees do certain things, having the building, even though the doors are locked, anybody that was former staff, former elected official, any of the innumerable amount of keys that seem to be out and about, somebody walking in the door that we're trying to keep secure isn't a good thing. The other thing is, in that memo, I've asked or suggested that the highway department, the fire department, and the library, although the library, I'm not sure if the issue is as big with them. I haven't had a chance to talk to the librarian. But all of those entities, all of those town entities, be part of this changing of locks or changing of codes where codes are appropriate. One of the recommendations that I also made within that memo is that we go to a keyless coded door lock, so that basically you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars again replacing keys and door locks. And if we have a situation where somebody is either terminated under some serious threat type of issue, or they could be under protective order that they're the victim of something from a former staff member or whatever. And like I said, the obvious, there are a lot of floating keys around. All you need to do is change the codes. And if we get light locks that are put on the buildings, day after election, you can go in there and change the codes and give out the new electees the code keys, and you're all set. A couple of issues that I thought about in the interim, about renting the hall out. Most of these the locks in particular that I've looked at that seem to be the most useful also have a key with them. So we can place a key in the Knox box that's on the town hall, but you could also use that key, physical key, for somebody who rents the hall or is allowed in there to do different functions that it is not necessary for them to have full-time access to the building.
Right. So we don't have to give them the code, let them use it, and then change it for everybody. Just
Right.
Have the one key they can use.
Yep. Then they can sign it out. They can, after they signed it out, if they don't return it, we make we put a statement on their original sign out that says, you don't bring the key back or you lose it, the cost of changing the locks is yours. So town does it once.
So I think going forward, I would imagine we'll need to gather information on costs and lock types. Sherwood, how do you feel about handling that?
Not a problem. I've got a preliminary on the lock that's at the town yard. The only difference between the one I'm looking at and the one that's on the town highway garage is that that one up there doesn't have a key. But it's the same style. I think it's even the same company that's up there. And the ones that I saw have a key, and they run anywhere from $300 to $500 a piece.
And then
Per door.
installation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
per door.
Yes.
So I guess would entertain a motion to have Sherwood pursue putting a proposal together for the changing and installation of keyless entry locks on the library, the garage, the fire department, and the town hall.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of asking Sherwood to put together a proposal to change the locks on the library, the town hall, the fire department, and the town garage, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, Sherwood, so I guess whenever you can put something together, Sherwood, we look at installation costs as well.
Okay.
All right.
How many, would you like kind of pricing from a couple of different entities or?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So not necessarily a formal bid, but just prices from a couple of different.
Yeah, I think for right now, if we get a few prices, we can then put it out to bid.
Okay. Sounds
Once
like
we
a
have,
plan.
once we have an idea of what we're looking at, we can establish a not to exceed.
But it'll also give me a chance to look into the library a little bit further. I'm not sure what their control issues might have been. And Stephen and I need to have a conversation about what to do up there, up at the town highway garage, what makes the most sense. So yeah, we'll take care of that.
Okay.
Thank
Anything
you.
else? Anything else you have for us?
No, I don't think so today.
Okay. Thanks a lot,
Thank you,
Sherwood.
Sherwood.
Great. Thanks, Sherwood.
Take care.
Okay. Going back to pick up the agenda. I did forget to mention that I had one addition, and that was Glen with the fire department, but we did that already. We can move on to the warrants.
I don't have a copy of them, so somebody else will have to.
Did you get the email packet?
I don't think so.
I can read them.
Okay.
Good to go?
Go ahead.
I make a motion to pay payroll warrant number one, or warrant number one of the payroll, the amount of $9,600.58.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of paying check warrant number one out of payroll, the amount of $9,600.58, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number two out of the payroll taxes in the amount of $4,111.29.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of paying check warrant number two, payroll taxes in the amount of $4,111.29, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Motion to pay check warrant number three out of the general fund in the amount of $4,016.16.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of paying check warrant number three out of the general fund in the amount of $4,016.16, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 4 out of the general fund in the amount of $187.10.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of paying check warrant number 4 out of the general fund for in the amount of $187.10 signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 5 out of the general fund in the amount of $1,750.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of paying check warrant number 5 out of the general fund in the amount of $1,750 signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 6 out of the highway fund in the amount of $5,611.32.
Second.
Any discussion?
This is the insurance one.
Hearing none. All those in favor of paying check warrant number 6 out of highway fund in the amount of $5,611.32 signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 7 out of the equipment fund in the amount of $3,395.84.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of paying check warrant number 7 out of the equipment fund in the amount of $3,395.84 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? Motion passes. Okay.
That's it for warrants.
Once you're done. Reports. Steve, you want to start with the highway?
Sure. Let's start with Green Up Day this Saturday. We need to decide whether there's going to be the small truck on the common, or are we just going to have them leave them on roadside or drop them off at the town garage? Has anybody given that any thought?
I have thought about it a little bit. I think it might make the most sense to do it at the town garage because there's less kind of the temptation to congregate. It also, I think, limits our cost for having you and the guys go out and pick them up off the side of the road. What does everybody else think?
How did it work when the small truck was down
So
on the?
Community Hope and Action Group is, So the Community Hope and Action Group is doing a pickup. We typically do like a barbecue on the common for Green Up Day. Last year we did it in conjunction with the Lions Club in Newfane, I believe. This year, Bob Thibault, who was on earlier, gave us permission to set up sort of in the high school parking lot. People will just drive in, pick up their Green Up bag, go out and green up. And the question was, where should those folks bring it back to? Do we want to park a truck at the edge of the high school parking lot or on the common? Or so I know that that's happening in town on Saturday. If that helps or confuses things, Steve, I'm sorry.
Rob, you were going to say something?
I said, Steve, how did it work last time that you had the small truck on the town common?
We had the truck on the town common. It did not fill, but we also had bags laying at intersections in town that we did have to go and pick up.
What would be
And
your?
the other problem I have with at the town garage, people drop off things that tires, vacuum cleaners, microwave ovens, and TVs we had to deal with last year. that we have to pay to get rid of, on top of the green bags that we now have to pay to get rid of. And
Were any of those good?
I did not bother plugging them in.
Oh, okay.
But my point is, if I call Wyndham Solid Waste and they tell me that it's going to cost us $140 a ton to get rid of the green bags, when I'm paying $140 a ton at Triple T, they're all just going to go in the back of the compactor, so I don't have to send 2 trucks and 2 guys.
Good idea.
That makes perfect sense to me. Is there,
So-
So
The amnesty on trash day?
what's your suggestion then, Steve?
When we talked about this last meeting, we talked about what's the least amount of social distancing problems are we going to have. And I think we said that we would have everything go to the garage and not on the common. So I'm fine with having a truck outside on the common, and we'll just throw it all in the back of the compactor on Monday morning.
okay, so,
I'll
So
go
if they-
down. I think Heidi told me last year by 3 o'clock it was pretty much done. That's what time I went down to pick up the truck. And this Saturday at 3 o'clock, I'll go down. I'll just drive the truck inside the garage, and then Monday we'll throw everything in the back of the compactor.
So if we can throw the TV in the back of the truck, we're good to go?
We're not supposed to. Of course,
Oh.
accidents happen. That's why they put erasers on pencils, but we're not supposed to.
Okay.
Electronics is a whole different
So,
recycling.
For the community, for promoting this in town this week for Saturday, I can bring to that meeting tomorrow that we're going to put a little truck on the common, and people can do as they've always done, which is come collect, grab their bags, go out, collect trash, bring it back and put it in the truck on the common.
no, the truck will be
Yeah.
at the town garage, not on the common.
Okay, that's not what I just heard from Steve. So can you just clarify that, Steve? What are you doing with the town truck, the little truck for Green Up Day?
No, I was suggesting that we leave the little truck at the town garage and not on the common where people would be more prone to congregate in groups.
Okay. So bring your Green Up Day bags to the little truck, which will be at the town garage,
Yes.
but pick up your bags at the high school. Got it.
Okay. I guess I would entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved.
So moved.
All those in favor of
Second.
putting the little truck at the town garage for Green Up Day on Saturday, with people instructed when they pick up their bags at the high school to bring the bags back to the town garage and throw them in the truck, signified by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Okay, so Carla, with that being said,
Mhm.
is it possible for you to make a couple of laminated signs that I could put on the back of the truck that specifically say, no tires, no electronics?
Yep.
Thank
Do
you.
you also want to say no furniture?
Well, I mean,
I have a
we
question.
could just say nothing other than green bags.
So what happens if you,
Go ahead, Crystal.
I think there are some areas of town where there actually are, I mean, a couple of years ago, there was a sofa on whatever that Evans Road or whatever that road was. I mean, I think people occasionally green up things that don't fit in the bags. What are we supposed to do? What do you want folks to do with that stuff?
See, that has to be separate. Several meetings ago, we approved to dispose of 3 couches for $60. Those are tires, furniture, electronics are free if they go to the correct place, but tires and furniture are an additional cost to the town for disposal.
Yes, I understand that, but you're asking Vermonters to volunteer their time to pick up roadside trash, and then now you're saying you can only pick up this trash. Don't pick up this trash, just pick up this trash. You can't pick up a tire that somebody chucked over the bank. There's a tire right here on Crema in the brook. So I intend to get that on Saturday, and I intend to bring that to the town dump. And I am not going to pay to dispose of that because it's sitting in the stream and it's Green Up Day. And it's the 50th anniversary of Green Up Day, for crying out loud. Like, you can't pick and choose what you're going to allow people to recycle on a free day of greening up the state. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Crystal.
Well, what happened last year?
So we're going to have to eat some of it. We're going to have to eat some of it.
Yeah, all right,
Crystal,
good.
do you remember when we met with Bob Spencer?
Yes.
Well, Crystal, do you remember when we met with Bob Spencer?
Is he the guy with the
From
composting
Wyndham
bags?
Solid Waste.
I don't know
And
who
he
Bob
basically
Spencer
told us everything that Steve just told us, that it's going to cost us more money. And you didn't have really anything to say to him that much right then. But now we're going to jump on Steve about it. It's like, it's going to cost all of us money no
I'm
matter
not
what.
jumping on anybody. I'm making my point is, yeah, this is a statewide initiative that every town participates in, and you can't say you can green up, but if you find a roadside tire, you can't bring it to Green Up Day.
My point being is that you should have been on Bob
They're
Spencer.
just going to pick up beer cans and hypodermic needles and leave the rest of it on the side of the road? Well, sorry, Rob. Sometimes it takes me a little while to think things through.
Well, I understand that, but we should have been on Bob then and made him be more acceptable to accepting all of the stuff, not making us pay for it. Because remember, he said that how people were collecting all of their tires and all their stuff for this day and then spreading it out there. Am I correct or incorrect?
Yeah, no, I remember that.
No,
Yeah,
that's
and
correct.
Like, if somebody finds a couch on the side of the road, fine, bring it. But I think a lot of times they're not finding a couch on the side of the road. They're finding their old couch that they just replaced that's been in the backyard. And they're using Green Up Day to take advantage of being able to
It
get
might
rid
not
of it.
even be their couch. It could be whatever, a rototiller. It could be tires. There's a multitude of things behind people's garages that can be kicked out on the curb at Green Up Day.
So I think
in other
put it
towns,
this
in
way.
the state of Vermont, what you
bale
typically
and wrap. I
do
can
is
break
someone
down
sort of
by 5 to
coordinates
35.
the effort. And then that effort is when you pick up your bags, you let the person that you're picking up the bags from, who sometimes is the town clerk, sometimes is just a group of people that are concerned about the environment. You let them know loosely where you're going to be greening up, right? So you tell them like what road you're going to be working on or whatever. We don't do that here. It's very loose in Townshend, but I think to ask people to pick and choose what they're going to pick up off the side of the road on a day that supports the environment is ridiculous and pretty small for a select board.
Heidi, Russ.
And if it costs us some money, then I would actually stand up at town meeting and say, you know, okay, yes, I voted for people to be able to pick up tires on the side of the road and bring them to the truck. But that's the whole point. If people want to abuse it and they, you know, we all still have to look ourselves in the mirror in the morning. If you're going to steal from the town and put your own personal shit in the Green Up Day bags, you're going to have to live with that. And I don't know. I clearly have strong feelings about this.
Well, I would like to not throw my money in front of my morals if I can.
what if we did this? What if people find tires, electronics, whatever, can we have them stack them somewhere, Steve? And then we'll just deal with them after the fact? Well, so what I would say is we want to discourage people from bringing stuff out of their garage. But if they truly find it on the side of the road, we want to encourage them to pick that up.
Okay.
So should we make signs that say in the truck, no tires, please put them here?
We can have a specific location for things other than green bags, yes.
Okay. I think we should do that, because I fully understand your point, Crystal. And to give people an opportunity to put it somewhere, that way we get an idea of how much is this stuff that's found on the road. I think we can get a better sense for going forward. And then maybe, in next year's budget, we set aside a little more money for Green Up Day, and we agree to take whatever.
It should also be reported to Heidi Russ, because she is the town's Green Up coordinator and has been for years. I know that she does organize it all through the school too, and she does keep track of which roads are being done.
Oh, okay.
So there is a second person, there is another organization, like she kind of works with Community Hope and Action, but she's kind of on her own doing it.
Mhm.
So.
Okay. Carla, can you contact Heidi and just let her know that is going to be the plan, that there will be a separate area for non-green bag refuse?
Okay, and when I make the sign, am I just making the signs that say no tires, no electronics in truck? And then maybe make a couple of other signs to say tires here, electronics here?
I mean, listen, we have to do this carefully, because someone's going to drop off some green bags and say, oh, they're going to let us put tires here and electronics here. I'll go home and get my computer. I don't want to encourage that. Just rubbish not in green bags can be put here. Something like that. No specific.
Yeah, I agree with Steve that we don't want it, like I said, we don't want to encourage it, but we also don't want to dissuade people from recycling stuff that can be recycled.
I mean, we still do have a hazardous waste day collection, which happens in, it used to be, I think, the end of June, 1st of July. I'm sure that's still going to happen. Like Will, like you said, we'll just have to put a new line item in the budget next year for Green Up Day expense. 2 years ago, it was free to the town. The couches were free. Everything was free. Everything changed last year. And when we asked Bob at the meeting if it was going to be free this year or not, he couldn't give us an answer and said he would get back to us. Which on the last call, Irv coughed up that it's not going to be free this year.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we're running up against an unfunded mandate is basically what we have going on.
Right, exactly.
So, and we can also, talk with VLCT and get them to lobby a little harder for having the state kick something in for that. Okay, Steve, what else you got?
Okay, the composting bags were delivered over the weekend. I have them at the garage. Wyndham Regional Grants in Aid program has been turned back on effective mid last week. That affects the Plum Road project. I contacted the contractor. He's going to put this program back in his schedule, and the deadline for completion of this program has been pushed out to October 15th.
Oh, that's good.
Currently, we're doing our ditching project on Simpson Brook. Also, the grader's been out every day. And Anita gave me a gift today from Green Up Vermont, gave her a maple sapling to be planted in town somewhere. It's about 2 foot tall. So if anybody has any suggestions on where you would like me to plant the tree, I'd be more than happy to do that.
Huh. That's nice. Okay. Is that it for highway, Steve?
It is.
Okay. There's no counter money sheet this week, or this meeting rather. I also did not get a treasurer's report. I think Anita or Elaine forgot to put it in, and I forgot to ask her for it. Let's see, we did members of the public, old business, COVID-19 updates. I think Sherwood took care of. All right, next up is town composting. So we got the bags in. Steve, we're going to use that gray can that already exists there for holding for the time
Well, I
being.
have a
Is it-
can inside the garage that Triple T gave me.
Oh, okay.
It's a can on wheels, so it's easily moved around. The plan is really to build this whole project around the compliance rate. How many people are going to be doing this? What's the generation factor going to be?
Right. Right.
What I didn't know at the time was I thought it was like what we tried a year ago with food scraps. But now they're adding cardboard and paper to it. That's
Okay.
going to take up a little bit more room.
Yeah.
So once we get a feel for the compliance rate, we can make an adjustment to the size of the container, but we are starting out on the small side because Pete from Triple T really feels compliance rate is going to be very low. And, you know, if we started on a Tuesday and we're overwhelmed, we can certainly have an adjustment made by Thursday. So it's not like I'm going to have these bags of food scraps all over the place and no place to put them. We can react very quickly, but we need a little bit of experience to see how much we're going to be generating. And, you know, we'll do something, like I said, that fits on the back of the truck when it goes to Triple T, so we're not paying for hauling expenses. We're not making 2 trips a week. We'll make it work. We just need some experience as to how much we're going to be generating.
Right. Okay, good. Carla, I just want to remind everyone that we're looking at starting this end of June, 1st of July. So Carla, can you get in touch with Wyndham Solid Waste Management and ask them for, Bob had offered up some printed materials that we could pass out on as far as what's compostable, what's not, and composting versus recycling. So if you could get whatever materials they have, and I think they also, last time they sent someone to the compactor to do a little training, and it was I think me and Craig and Arnold and Michelle. So they might want to do that again. So if you could put that in the works, so that we can have materials for people to pick up at town hall and at the compactor before it gets started, so they can get a sense of what's going to be expected and what is and is not compostable.
Okay. And Rick said he'd do a mass email too when we got the material, the print material.
Great. Okay. Next up is Cintas. So Carla, you finally heard from them.
Yes.
Amazing. So
yeah.
So I'm looking at
So I sent over the latest, I guess you can say, itemized list dated 5/26, and then I sent over the original quote that was done in September along with the contract that we had signed.
Yep.
So they obviously did have some price discrepancy when they started billing us, and after much ado with relaying all the information about what we actually ordered, there is a little bit about, on our original quote, we didn't have a weekly service charge noted, but on the actual contract where it doesn't, give you a total of the breakdown of prices, there is a weekly service charge on there that states $9.95 per delivery. Yep. Apparently that's wrong, and it's only supposed to be $4.95. So the weekly price was able to be lowered down to $92.31 rather than the $103 that they've been that they've been charging us.
Okay, so we can go back and pay them whatever it is, the $92.31 for all the back invoices, and then we can be done.
Yep.
Correct? Okay.
That's the new number, $92.31?
Yep.
Yep.
So basically, it's just the $4.95 weekly service charge.
That was in the contract, but not on their quote.
Yeah, in the
Right.
contract, but not on the original quote.
Okay. So I guess I would entertain a motion to have Elaine go back through and pay us to current on Cintas invoices in the amount of $92.31 apiece.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of asking Elaine to go back and pay Cintas Corporation for their back invoices in the amount of $92.31 each, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? Motion passes. Elaine will be very happy to hear that.
Yes, she will.
So probably it'll end up being on the next round of warrants for the next meeting. Okay, where are we here? Cintas. Okay, next up is Bartlett Tree Service. So we were going to deal with this the meeting after town meeting, and then everything exploded, and we kind of put it on the back burner. But excuse me, the gist of it is Bartlett sent us a quote for a contract which would remove 2 trees, the planted red maple by the school, and then the maple that's closest to 30, or closest to Grafton Road, and then also do the soil treatment, which is pretty standard for what they've done in the past. And the other thing is pruning. They want to do the Norway maple, which is the tree, where is it? So the Norway maple is on the corner by the gazebo, and they want to prune that to give it better clearance over the gazebo, improve appearance, and reduce the risk of branch, stem, and or root failure. The other one would be to prune the elm tree near the gazebo to reduce lateral branch weight around the entire canopy, reduce stress on branching unions, and improve structure. And then, like I said, the 2 trees they would remove would be taken down to a short stump. Grinding the stumps down of the ones that had already been taken out. So in total, the contract quotes $610 for soil treatment and fertilization, $1,890 for pruning, and then $450 for the removal of the 2 trees that they want to take out, which totals $2,950. In the current year, we had budgeted $3,000. We also have $3,000 budgeted in the next fiscal year, which this would probably be on, because I don't imagine they're going to be out before July. So we have $3,000 to spend on the maintenance of the trees specifically in the budget, and they're quoting us at $2,950.
Couldn't we cut the trees down ourselves? I mean, you could put those trees in your Volkswagen, couldn't you?
I guess. I mean, it's part of their ongoing agreement with us. Like last year, they donated a replacement tree. I think I think they've tried to take care of the town and also take care of the trees.
I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying that
Yeah,
two trees, 450, we could cut that off the top and have them do the rest.
I think they also will grind the stumps down and do it in conjunction with the other maintenance that they're doing.
Go ahead.
So I would entertain a motion to have me sign the Bartlett tree contract and engage them for tree maintenance for this summer.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing
I
none.
would ask that once the contract is signed, if it is signed, and Carla communicates with Bartlett, that the highway department be made aware of when they're going to be on the common, because I would like to be there when some of this work is being done.
Yeah, absolutely. Carla, can you make a note of that?
Yep.
And then Steve will just give them contact information for you so they can give you a call when they're a couple days before they're going to come out. Does that work for you?
Please.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of engaging Bartlett trees experts for the maintenance of the trees on the common for this coming year signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? Motion. Rob, did you vote? Sorry.
Fire away.
Okay. Motion passes. So Carla, I will try to swing in the next couple days, and I will swing in the next day or two, get that signed so we can get that off to them.
Okay.
All right.
Or if you want to sign it and you can scan it and or fax it.
Well, the original's still at the office, so you might as well do that. Okay. Bob Thibault is done. Is that really everything? Okay. I would entertain a motion to enter executive session under where is it? 1 VSA 313 AF
So
for
moved.
correspondence from the attorneys. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of moving into executive session under 1 VSA 313 AF signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? Motion passes. All right, so we will enter executive session. Rich, I will pause my recording and put you in the waiting room.
Okay.
Resume recording. Rich is back. So we are back in a regular meeting. There was no resolution from the executive session. Does anyone have anything else they need to bring up? Hearing none. The next scheduled meeting is June 9th at 6:30 p.m. For the time being, we will continue to do Zoom until we get some guidance from VLCT or the state about loosening restrictions on gatherings and meetings in the building. So with that said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved.
I got really scared there for a second.
Who wants the credit for that one?
Yeah, what happens if nobody moves to adjourn? Do I have to just sit here?
Then
Oh,
we're stuck
man.
here. We're stuck
Oh.
here.
Oh dear. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Great night.
Good night.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Rich.